Marietta is a beautiful city, especially at its core. I love the downtown area of Marietta, and it was actually the deciding factor in me staying here after I graduated college. It's one of the only walkable places inside Metro Atlanta, and you'll find so many local businesses here that really create a vibrant environment that you want to spend time in. Now, with that being said, Marietta does have its fair share of issues. Quite a few of them, actually. But this video won't be a list of grievances about all of them, rather it will focus on one particular issue where Marietta is seriously lacking: cycling. Now, for a little context, I love to bike everywhere. In the summer of 2023, I got tired of traffic and also had fond memories of biking when I was a teenager. So I decided to go on Facebook Marketplace, buy a used bike for $200, and try to bike everywhere I could. And honestly, it's been an eye-opening experience. When I was exclusively driving, I rarely saw or noticed any bike infrastructure. But now that I bike, I found out that we have a lot of multi-use trails in Marietta and Cobb County at large that help you get to major destinations and in some cases literally connect two different cities. So why don't more people bike in Marietta? According to the Bureau of Transportation Statistics, half of all trips are within 3 miles or less. So it's not like the distances are the problem. We also have the Mountain to River Trail running directly through downtown. Well, I think a short example can tell us why. Let's say you live in this subdivision right here, and you want to go over to the Mountain to River Trail down by downtown Marietta so you can go to a coffee shop. Let's say Session Stand. For the sake of this example, we're going to use the recommended biking path on Google Maps, which says this trip should only take about 19 minutes, which is not so bad. But as soon as we leave our subdivision on our bike, we're immediately going to notice an issue when we reach our first intersection on GA 120. High traffic volumes, high car speeds, and almost no biking infrastructure. Almost all of the roads on our recommended biking route have traffic speeds that regularly exceed 40 miles an hour, like Polk Street Extended, and Kennesaw Avenue, and these speeds are regardless of their posted speed limit. Even on a road that has a bike lane like Polk Street Extended, it's 4 feet wide, unprotected, and won't really take you anywhere. Which is disappointing because this is a road that has 4 travel lanes and very low daily traffic volume. At almost every moment on our trip, we'll be biking next to cars going more than 30 miles an hour, or we'll have cars overtaking us at high speeds, which isn't really a comfortable biking experience. We eventually do reach the Mountain to River Trail, but it's only at the very tail end of our ride. Well, that's what the sidewalk is for, right? Georgia's state law would definitely disagree with you. But let's say you do decide to ride on the sidewalk. Funnily enough, contrary to what you'd think, it's actually less safe to bike on the sidewalk. It's less safe for you because when cars are turning at intersections and driveways, they don't expect something going 10 to 15 miles an hour to be on the sidewalk. And honestly, neither do the people walking on the sidewalk, which presents another safety risk. Also, not every road has sidewalks on both sides of the street, or sometimes a sidewalk at all. This puts you in a scenario where you'll have to know when a sidewalk ends and when to switch sides of the road, which takes more time, or in a scenario where there's no sidewalk, you either bike in the road or you don't. Now, if you don't like the route we've taken, there are certainly other routes that you can take that are slightly safer, but they add extra time to your trip. A trip which was already more than twice as long as a trip in your car. After telling you all of this, given the option, would you start using your bike to get around? Probably not. And that is what is at the heart of Marietta's cycling problem: the lack of a safe network to get from point A to point B. Sure, we do have a couple of great multi-use trails like the Mountain to River Trail, but the process of actually getting to them is unsafe and inconvenient. But don't just take my word for it. The city agrees with me. The city commissioned a trail connectivity study that was completed in 2019 that addressed this exact issue. The plan came back with a summary that showed where and how Marietta could build out a bike network that could connect its multi-use trails, and also got resident feedback on where they thought Marietta was lacking in bike infrastructure. I know in Cobb County and in Marietta, when we think of biking, we think of multi-use trails. But we actually have a lot of options in front of us that don't require us to exclusively stick to building multi-use trails. Look, I love trails and we shouldn't stop building them, but they're really expensive to build and take years of planning and funding. They're an essential part of a bike network, but we already don't have a safe cycling network to begin with, so even if we do keep exclusively building multi-use trails, it's going to be difficult for the majority of people to get to them without a car. And at that point, why bike anyway? So, what options do we have besides that? Well, there are two main ones: bike lanes on wide roads and neighborhood greenways on narrow ones. These are essentially roads where speeds are so low, around 20 miles an hour or less, that cycling with cars is very safe. There's also dedicated infrastructure that's put into place to keep car speeds low, and signage to help you get to commonly traveled locations in the network. But where in the city can this happen? I spent some time a few months ago trying to find out what streets in Marietta this was possible on, and actually found more than you would think, which was eventually what led me to the 2019 trail connectivity study. All of this eventually led me to create a casual monthly bike ride in Marietta on a route where there's room for quick progress. This bike ride happens once a month on the third Saturday of the month. We meet at 9 a.m. in front of the Marietta Food Hall, and the ride only takes about 30 to 40 minutes. I specifically chose this route as a good mix between what we already have and what could be. Remember those neighborhood greenways I talked about? One of those from the study was proposed to be on Lemon Street and Rigby Street. Our bike ride directly takes this route, and currently cars are already going 20 miles an hour or less. Don't believe me? Look at this footage. Because of the narrow lanes, speed tables, and low traffic volumes, it wouldn't take that much to officially turn this into a neighborhood greenway. In the trail connectivity plan, the cost of the Lemon Street/Rigby Street Greenway was estimated to cost $50,000. To put that into context, the cost that the city paid to commission this plan was $25,000. The neighborhood greenway was also classified as a high priority project for its usefulness in connecting the Fairground Street Trail to the Mountain to River Trail. Another section of our ride that's also in the trail connectivity plan is Aviation Road and Victory Road. Aviation Road is a very underutilized road with traffic volume so low I couldn't find traffic counts for it, but it is somehow 4 lanes wide. Victory Road is a very similar scenario, except it has a very wide paved shoulder that is a bike lane in all but name. These two roads are a part of what the plan calls the Southeast Neighborhood Greenway, which is categorized as another high priority project. But these are just words and pictures in a plan, one that you've probably never even heard of before. Why hasn't any of it been done? Well, I think that has a lot to do with the lack of cycling culture we have here in Marietta. Even though, when asked, residents have expressed a clear desire for wanting to bike. We're going to need to build that culture and show our elected officials that we want safe ways to get around on our bikes. And the only way for us to do that is by coming together and asking for it. But we're going to have to get together in the first place before we start asking. With events like casual bike rides and maybe even bike buses to school, we can show people that it's not impossible to bike right now, and we can build a culture that can make things so much better. If we're successful in building this culture, we could be a spark to help Marietta and Cobb County at large finally build out a network that can connect schools, homes, and businesses together and help our residents get around more without having to sit in traffic. I'm Sam from A Better Cobb. Please join our monthly bike ride. Thanks for watching.